Great. So like I mentioned, I think that this book is a really great size. It's rather large. It's one of the biggest that I have for any deck. I think I only have a couple that are larger in there for tarot decks. So I did want to give you a little look inside and show you what to expect when working with this book, and that's my notes for making this video, so don't pay attention to that. And we'll move right into the contents here. So they do have a very simple book here. It's pretty large. It's 139 pages long, but the really great thing about it is they have a pretty big font. Everything is really clear and simple and easy to understand. I think that they do a great job of making this accessible for people no matter how much experience you have working with oracle decks or readings in general. I think that they make this really simple for you, but still really intuitive to the point where you're not going to be bored reading it. So the first section here is a cute little introduction to the moon itself, why working with the moon is going to be beneficial to you in your practice, you know, what the moon means to these authors and what they hope it means to you through working with this deck. So I thought that was a really cute introduction, a really great way to personalize the deck and connect the readers with the creators. And then they move into the information side of things. They do show you how the deck is broken down. As you saw if you watched the card walkthrough, then you'll see that the cards are broken down into mandalas, the phase cards, and the zodiac mandalas. So they just go over a little bit more about why it's broken down the way that it is, the different ways that you can interpret the different sections of the deck, how they work together, how they work individually, things like that. The next few pages that I really like are kind of almost, I want to say, beginner tips. They definitely show you how to work with your deck, how to connect with your deck, how to prepare for a reading, and these things are going to be really great for new readers, I think, who maybe aren't as familiar and who are looking for a little bit more guidance. This guidebook has a lot of that. For being as simple as it is, it really makes things easy for new beginners or people who aren't familiar with working with this kind of deck, things like that, because it is a unique deck, and having a little bit more information I think is beneficial for them. So the next few pages are dedicated to spreads that you can use with this deck in particular. They have a couple here. They have the Spirit de la Lune Spiral Moon spread and then the Triple Moon spread. So I haven't played around with them yet. I haven't tried them. Like I said, I haven't had much time to work with the deck. I have just been appreciating it and fondling it and shuffling it and trying to get ready for this video and really trying to you know, get a feel for it, but I haven't worked with it quite yet. So just to move through the next few pages, they do have descriptions for each of the cards, beginning with the mandala section, and they have a good amount of information. I think that they include a lot of really great things, and each of the mandala cards has their own spread. So as you're moving through the year, as you are encountering these moon phases that are featured on the mandalas in real life, you can actually use a specific spread that they've created for each of these sections, which I think is really, really great. I think it's a super cool use of their guidebook and their time, and you can tell how much effort they put into this book by creating the sheer number of spreads that they did. I think that they worked really hard to make this as user-friendly and as connected to the moon as possible, and they really succeeded in my opinion. Not only is this deck based around the moon, but they really strive to have you connect with the moon yourself, and I think that that's a really admirable way to go about a deck like this. I think that it's a really cool way to look at things and to try things out. So yeah, just flipping through here, showing you how many spreads there really are. Obviously, there are going to be a lot because there are a lot of mandalas. Just want to double check. So they do also have not only the 12 months of the year and the mandalas that are associated with it, but they do have spreads for those interesting lunar events like the blue moon and the eclipses and things like that. So when you do encounter those in real life, you can use spreads for them as well. So then after the moondalas, we move into the moon phases. And here, the guidebook goes back to being a pretty standard guidebook. Obviously, there aren't any more spreads in here to be reviewed or anything like that. So I'll just show you how the book is set up. Anyway, so that's the book itself. I hope that that was helpful for people, excuse me, who you know, really are interested in the book and what it can offer when working with the deck. Something that I wanted to take a side note on and go through is reversals in this deck. It's something that Tumblr user Howlwind Singh had kind of brought to my attention before I'd even had the opportunity to crack open the book, and I honestly didn't have reversals on my mind when I first got this deck, so I do want to take some time to talk about how reversals might work and what is included in the guidebook about reversals and things like that. So if you'd like that kind of information, stick around for the next section. Otherwise, thanks for sticking it out this far. Okay, so something that I wanted to take a moment to talk about specifically is reversals. Honestly, it's not something that I had been anticipating needing to worry about when I had purchased this deck, because it is a circular deck and because I don't use reversals in my tarot practice, so it just wasn't something that I had on my mind at the time when I purchased this deck. But Tumblr user Howlwind Singh did bring it to my attention before I'd even had the opportunity to crack open the guidebook, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about reversals and how they work, and how they might work for you or for anyone who might be interested in this deck. So as you probably saw as I was moving through the book itself, the book does have reversals built into the card meanings. So they do prep you already to be able to work with reversals in this deck, which, number one, I wouldn't have anticipated because it's a circular deck. Controlling reversals, having the deck entirely wonky in every which way, just seems like something that's going to be inherent to it because of its circular nature. So having reversals, I guess at once makes a lot of sense, but also just might get a little overwhelming in my opinion. So it's going to be something that I need to really teach myself how to work with and work on specific to this deck, especially when you take into consideration just how the deck works. Shuffling, you're not going to be able to control whether or not reversals come up, which is something that I do in my tarot practice. I do shuffle specifically to avoid reversals. I'm not going to have that opportunity with this deck whatsoever. So what I'm looking for when I am trying to understand whether or not a card is reversed or not might be completely different than what you're going to look for. That is going to be really specific to each reader. I don't think that it's worthwhile for me to tell you what to look for in order for it to be a reversal or not. Just because it's not up to me, and there is no authority on reversals. Whether or not you read them isn't something that, you know, I get to dictate or that anybody gets to dictate. But if you are going to be working with reversals in this deck, if you are going to use those things, what I think would be a really great way for you to work on them is to early on set out a kind of maybe grid work or something where you can say, okay, this portion, like say you create a circle on a grid and you divide it in half any which way you see fit, whether it's strictly vertical, whether it's horizontal, whether it's kind of like on a diagonal, whatever works best for you. Set your boundaries early. Make sure that you are prepared to identify what you see as a reversal when it comes up in a reading. So when I'm doing my readings, it's likely that I'm going to be looking for a very showy reversal, a very clear reversal where it's like pretty much upside down or maybe like a few degrees left or right. Now, whether or not you read something like this as a reversal or not, or whether or not you want to play around with you know, circles and how much the two meanings, both the upright and the reversal, can be brought together in a reading is really going to be up to you. It could be really cool to play around with these ideas. As the type of person that I am, I'm probably going to be looking for something super specific. But if you are looking out at all of these cards and saying, well, I would read this as a reversal or I wouldn't read this as a reversal, then you know, it's really going to be worth your time to sit down and plan out what you're looking for. If you are someone who reads intuitively and someone who picks up on reversals intuitively, then this probably isn't going to have as big of an impact on you. It's probably not going to be something that you really need to pay too much attention to. But if you don't always read intuitively and you do associate specific you know, ways that the cards look in order to read from there, then it will be worth your time, I think, to sit down and really plan out what a reversal will mean for you, what it will look like for you, how to identify them, and how to use them with this circular deck. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of share my thoughts on it. It's not something that, you know, I think should ever deter you from looking into the deck a little bit more. If it is something that you are looking into buying, I definitely do recommend it based on just how intuitive the guidebook is, how much thought the creators have put into this deck, how well everything ties together. I'm hoping that this tutorial of sorts was helpful for you in some way, shape, or form. And if you do like the video, please do let me know, or if there's anything that you'd like me to work on, change, do differently, or just never do another video again, go ahead and let me know that too, either here or on Tumblr, just to kind of give me a better idea of whether or not these are useful for you. So I really appreciate you sticking it out. I hope that you had fun watching this. I definitely had fun making it, and it would be a great opportunity to do some more in the future. So I look forward to that. Thanks again, guys. Bye.